guys, this is Grey Wolf. I'm back to do another video for you. This is episode number 4 of Boxy Brown. Take it away, Boxy.
I ain't hearing that, see. You asking and you telling. Cause nobody tells Boxy Brown.
Alright, thanks, Boxy. Yeah, you're Duke of New York, #1.
Yeah.
This is episode number 4 of Boxy Brown. As I mentioned previously in episodes 3 and my video before that, episodes 3 and 4 of Boxy Brown had already been filmed. I won't go into detail again, but in case you've already heard it, but basically episodes 3 and 4 came out with no sound, so I'm redoing them. Most of the stuff's already been unboxed already. So I'm just doing a kind of a show and tell type thing now. The stuff that originally episode 3 was very long because it was a huge order. So what I decided to do, since I had to go back and refilm these, was kind of cut it up a little bit. And basically this episode of Boxy Brown is basically going to include the stuff that got left out of the original order that I've already opened, and will include a couple of new items that I've gotten in since then. And yes, I have the same shirt on, but only because all of these, and I probably got 1 or 2 more Boxy Brown videos that are going to come after this, because I have boxes of stuff piled up that I haven't opened, because I was down for a while, couldn't get any videos shot, so I have a bunch of unboxing videos to do. Like I've mentioned before, though, I'm not going to release them all at the same time. That would be boring. I've pretty much blown my wad for a while. I will be purchasing, various small items here or there, but probably for the next couple months anyway, you probably won't see any big ticket items come through here past episode maybe 5 or 6. So there'll probably be episodes, I don't know, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10, who knows. It'll probably be mostly small stuff or whatever. So just to give you guys kind of a heads up of what's going on, why you see me in the same outfit for 3 or 4 videos in a row, just because I'm shooting a bunch of these back to back, redoing them basically. So anyway, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. Let's just get on and start doing this stuff. As most of you know, or probably should know if you follow my stuff, I did win one of the Proline giveaways from Facebook not too long ago. I got a couple of different things for that. One of which I got a crawler body, and this is the crawler body right here. I got this from Proline. It was painted by Proline. It appears to be a 70s model Chevy, maybe 72-ish. I'm thinking C10. Can't swear to it, but I never actually saw the thread that said I was a winner. Somebody just told me that I was a winner. One of my Facebook friends actually messaged me and said that I had won it, and so I sent Proline a message asking them if that was true. They said yes, and asked me to send them my information, so I did. Anyway, that's pretty sweet crawler body. Unfortunately, my crawler is set up with a bodiless design, although I do have the chassis to go back to using a body if I wanted to, and I just might, considering I have this now. The other thing that I got from Proline that I thought was really cool was this patch. And it's a very nice, it's like an iron-on patch, which is pretty cool. It's thick fabric type material. Currently, I just took some poster sticky putty stuff and have kind of just stuck it to my wall as a display item, basically. This to me is actually cooler than the body, because how many people have one of these? You know, I mean, granted, the paint on this body is pretty good. It's nothing spectacular, although I do like. I don't know if you got. Yeah, you should be able to see that there. There is like a marbled yellow, or I'm sorry, a marble effect in the orange area. It's kind of a lighter orangish yellow color marbled in there. Um, I don't know. It's hard to tell on my small tablet over here how well that shows up on camera until I go back and watch it. But I don't know. I mean, this is cool. Don't get me wrong. That is definitely cool. But I mean, anybody anybody could have bought one of these back in the day when they were selling them. And granted, they don't sell these anymore, I don't believe. But how many people have one of these? So I don't know. To me, this is actually the cooler of the two prizes. Um, well, technically there was three prizes because I got $100 gift certificate also, which I've already spent. Um, you guys will see that stuff when it comes in. It hasn't come in yet. Anyway, enough about the Proline crap. Let's see. I'm going to go back and finish up a couple of things from my big R2 Hobbies order that was mostly talked about in episode 3 of Boxy Brown. So my camera angle got messed up here a little bit. There. Bought a couple. These are basically just tools. This is this is an aluminum camber gauge. You can use it as a camber gauge, like you use it like this, and it's got the degrees marked out on it. It's got the degrees marked out on it. And it's also a ride height gauge with the millimeters on the bottom there. It actually has the millimeters written on the bottom there. So ride height gauge slash camber gauge. It is aluminum, although it is kind of chintzy aluminum. But it was only, I want to say, $7 or $8. So given that, now technically I already have an RPM camber gauge. I mostly just got this because I like the ride height gauge. I don't know, the camber aspect of it I kind of like too. I don't know. I'll have to use it and use the RPM one to see which one I like better. This is actually probably the coolest tool I picked up, and I've actually been wanting one of these for a long time. This is basically basically a bearing tool, and as you can see, the bearing tool has different millimeter markings on each ring, starting at 2 and going all the way up to 14. This is actually made out of aluminum too, and it's actually decently weighted. I mean, yeah, you can tell it's a cheap Chinese tool, but it's decently weighted, and I like it quite a bit. And I'll show you guys why I like this thing. Now, what this is actually designed mostly to do is to actually push bearings out of like housings and stuff. So, say you had this bearing and it was inside of a, say it was inside of, an axle carrier or whatever. You can take this tool, insert it into the carrier, and push the bearing out of the carrier. That's what it was advertised as its main function. Now, what I like to use this for is to actually put the bearing on there, and then I can run it back and forth over my hand to feel the bearing to see if it needs to be cleaned. If it feels rough, if it feels gritty. This one happens to be perfectly smooth because it's a freshly rebuilt bearing that I pulled out of a drawer. So this is pretty smooth. That's the main thing I like about this tool. I was using a pencil before, and it's such a pain in the butt to keep it on the end of a pencil, and the pencil's tapered, so it doesn't even go all the way through. It just kind of hugs the one side, and I don't know. And then you got to put pressure on it when you're sticking the pencil in it. This is just so much better. I really like this tool. This was only, I think, $6 or $7. Now, the one tool that I bought that I was highly dissatisfied with was this. This is a what do you call it? A shock shaft pair of pliers. Shock shaft pliers is what these are called. And the concept is cool. If you look at the end here, you can see the different sizes and shapes of the holes for the various size shock shafts. But the thing that kind of ticked me off was I paid $11. I paid $11 and some change for this, and this thing is tiny. It's like, and it's cheap, crappy, light, almost plastic feeling aluminum. It's just really crappy. Let me show you guys an example. This is a normal sized pair of pliers. This is your average everyday run of the mill set of pliers. This is the shock shaft pliers. Now, when I ordered these for $11 and some change, I expected them to be this big. And I apologize if I'm looking over to my right a lot. I'm actually looking at the monitor instead of the camera to make sure that everything's in frame and all that. So if you see me looking over this direction, that's why. But yeah, so anyway, I expected to get something this big. I got this little chintzy piece of crap, and if they weren't in Hong Kong, I would probably take this and shove it right up their butt, because that's crap, especially for $11 and some change. Anyway, moving on from there, this is an RPM bearing blaster. I don't know if you guys have seen these before. I actually have a video of me using this when I demonstrate proper bearing cleaning techniques or whatever. If you've never seen one of these before, I highly recommend you get one of these. These are awesome for doing your bearings. Basically, what I do is I take a big piece of paper towel, fold it up into fourths, and I set it down on the table. You set the bottom piece on top of the paper towels, and then you take a bearing like this one, only I would remove the rubber side shielding off of it, and then you set it down. You basically set it down on this little cone in here, and that little cone kind of holds it in the center, and then you put the top on, and you kind of sandwich the bearing down on top of that cone. And then what you do is you take some cleaner, like this stuff, Cal RC's Mutor cleaner. This is what I like to use. This stuff, it's not a little, this stuff is pricey, but it's worth its weight in gold. I love this stuff. I've used brake cleaner, I've used carb cleaner, I've used engine degreaser, I've used a lot of different stuff. None of it is I can't talk today. None of it is as good as this stuff. However, it will work if that's all you got. Whatever cleaning supply you got, you take your straw and you stick it in the hole. Let's see, you can't really see that. You stick it in the hole here at the top, and then you spray your cleaning solution down into the bearing blaster, and what it does is it causes it to get evenly sprayed down through the bearing, in between all the little ball bearings in there, all the little balls inside the bearing, and it cleans it out real nice. And then once you got it cleaned out real nice, you can take your grease or your bearing oil or what have you, and you can rebuild the bearing. Looks like there's something wrong with this bearing, but yeah. So if you're the type of person that just uses their bearings until they rot, and then replaces them, or if you're the type of person that never checks your bearings, um, first off, I would suggest actually checking them, and secondly, if you just run them until you replace them, I would actually recommend you get a bearing blaster and actually clean your bearings once in a while, relube them. You know, they'll last for a very, very long time if you keep them properly cleaned and maintained. It's a lot cheaper than buying new bearings all the time. So anyway, bearing blaster. Also got a couple of on-off switches. These are kind of cool. They kind of go in line in your RX box. You connect like your RX pack to one end, the other end to your RX box, and then you got an on-off switch. I got a couple of kits that don't really have on-off switches, and I like on-off switches. These have LED indicators on them as well. So I figured they were cheap. I got these from R2 Hobbies as well. They were cheap, so I figured why not? Who knows when I'll need a couple extra bearings. That's pretty much it for this episode. Anyway, this is episode 4 of Boxy Brown, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe. Please share my videos. Uh, Feel free to use the like and dislike button. If you use the dislike button, though, please let me know why. You can leave me comments and questions down below. If you want to see pics, check out my Facebook page. That's where I keep all my pics. You can also leave me questions and comments there. That is www.facebook.com/GrayWolfStudios74. Or you can also email your questions and comments to me at graywolfstudios74@gmail.com. Peace.